before we start the show, we would like to thank our sponsors for 2024, Beefmaster Education Endowment Fund. Thank you for what you do for the breed, and thank you for supporting our show. SEBA, the Southeastern Beefmaster Breeders Association. Don't miss their convention and sale every August. Thank you for supporting the show. Emmons Ranch Beefmasters, Mr. Steve and Mrs. Cindy. They need no introduction. They always breed great cattle, and we just appreciate what you guys do, and thank you for supporting us. C&M Ranches out of Kershaw, South Carolina, the Chick family. Be on the lookout for their sale starting in 2025. Thank you for supporting the show. Lissy's Beefmasters is another one that doesn't need any introduction. We appreciate what you do for the breed and for our show. Cottage Farms Beefmasters, they have a sale with Clark Jones every year in June. Thank you for supporting our show. Sea Shepherd Beefmasters, thank you for supporting the show out there in Texas. And Jones Beefmasters, last but certainly not least, sell every June. They sell throughout the year. Mr. Clark, thank you for what you do for the breed every day, and thank you for what you do for our show. JCS Beefmasters, Jared and Kelly Strickland out of Savannah, Tennessee, always raising great stock. Thank you for what you do for the show, and be on the lookout for their cattle and coming sales this year. Lastly, G&M Cattle Company out of Taylorsville, North Carolina, family owned and operated, will be in multiple sales this year as well. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. Welcome to Beefmaster Banner. We're your hosts, Josh Morrison and Jared Strickland. How's it going, Jared?
That's going good, man. We're getting ready for this. I'm hoping for some spring grass here for long.
Oh, man.
Getting the itch with this warm weather.
It's raining here again tonight. So, or today, I think they're supposed to rain pretty much all weekend. So I hope it's setting us up good for some early spring grass. I can't wait to see it. I think these cows would rather eat it than that hay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We were running in a pretty good drought there for a while, but we're catching up now with the last few weeks of rain.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, tonight we've got Mr. Steve and Mrs. Cindy Emmons of Emmons Beefmasters. They need absolutely no introduction. How are y'all doing?
Good.
We're great.
Before we get started, I want to say thank you for sponsoring the show. You guys have been wonderful doing that for us over the last year. Get ready to be two. It's much appreciated, and thank you for taking time out of your evening to come on with us again.
Well, thank y'all for promoting Beefmasters. That means a whole lot to the entire breed.
Thank you. We sure enjoy it.
It's fun. It sometimes becomes a job thinking of different subjects, but it's enjoyable when we get on here and talk to everyone, and everybody seems to enjoy it. And I know we had a really good response on your first episode last year, so we wanted to have you back on and talk a little bit different tonight about bull selection. Everyone knows you all are known for your good quality bulls, always have a real deep sale. I guess if y'all are good with it, we'll jump right in. Let's just start at the very beginning. What goes into choosing a mating, or what do y'all put into choosing a mating?
Well, we have learned over the years that every Beefmaster cow cannot make a herd sire. Let's kind of put it that way. Only certain females seem to have that attribute. So over the years, we have tried to cull our herd to females that will produce bulls. In a normal situation, you're basically going to get half heifers and half bull calves in your calf crop. Sometimes we feel like we get more like 80% bulls and 20% females. But anyway, even if that is the case, if you have females that will produce bulls, then you'll still be in good shape. Whether you AI your herd or natural service your herd, if your cows can't make bulls, you're in a world of hurt, because that's half your income from your herd or those bulls. So AI is a great tool, and it's something that we need to use. But if your cows, there again, can't produce a bull, AI is not going to make it happen.
I think something,
Go ahead.
you know, I think something we all get fixated on is selling females. Everybody loves selling females, right? I mean, there's no secret. I think what happens, what I've heard in the past and just recently, is people don't like selling bulls because they say it's hard to sell bulls. I I guess it can be, but if you've got the right kind of bulls that your customers want and a good bull, they're really probably not that hard to sell to anybody.
You're right. A good one's easy to sell. It's the other ones that you can't sell. And you said something right there. Most people don't understand who their customer is, and they're trying to produce bulls that their customers don't want to buy, and that doesn't work. I mean, if you're selling cars and everybody wants to drive a pink car, but you don't like pink, so you got brown ones on your car line, well, how many you think you're gonna sell?
Zero.
The bull deal's the same way. If your customer tells you he wants this kind of bull, but you're producing something totally different, and you're going to try to convince him to buy that's not how that deal works. A commercial cow guy doesn't play those games.
Well, that's what we found out. Those short, thick-necked cows, they just don't make those great herd sires. So we try not to have any of those cows in our herd. We had a lot rather have the feminine, long fronted, long necked cattle, deep bodied, that are structurally correct. That's very important on making your herd sire, is that the cow is structurally correct, because they have to be able to travel. That's something that's basic in this deal.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think where you get the real nice, meaty, bully fronted bulls is from the sire selection when you're mating the two. So you want, in my thoughts, is you would want very feminine cow like we're talking about, but then you want to put something real powerful on the other side of that in that bull to make that. Would you agree with that?
Yes, you want the bulls to look like males. I mean, you want them to be stout, like a boy would be, and you want the females to look like girls. You want them to be pretty and feminine, and you want the bulls to be masculine, a lot of muscle, a lot of top, a lot of bone. We have found out that the heads are very important on those bulls also, and I guess that's really more into another topic we're going to talk about in some of your questions. But the heads on these bulls, in our opinion, is very important. Big-headed bulls a lot of times cause calving problems. They take the look away from your cattle. The commercial cowmen, they like pretty bulls, and they don't want those big ugly heads on their bulls either. And they really have an idea that those big heads cause calving problems. So I've
heard that a lot. Just from an extension standpoint of talking to breeders and commercial cowmen, they say, "Oh, that cow bull there, he's got a big head. You're going to have problems," And I don't have any research to back that up or nothing like that, but I just hear that a lot, like when you mention that.
Well, and the thing that we do that maybe a whole bunch of other people do it too, we're not going to use a bull that's not out of a proven cow. I mean, that cow's got to look the part too. I mean, I mean, here at Emmons Ranch, we just stack cow families. I mean, we know our cow families, and they all produce bulls, and so we just, breed their sons back and forth amongst the cow families. We just try to stack the good ones on the good ones, and then cull the ones that don't turn out good, and then keep stacking the good ones on the good ones to try to have a lot more consistency in our program, which most of our cattle, probably all of them today, I mean, we line breed extensively to try to get consistency in these cattle to where when these bulls go out to your place, they get a consistent calf crop. I mean, that's all the guys look for that buy the Hereford bulls and stuff like that. Hereford's bull's been line bred 400 years. That gives them a consistent looking calf crop.
It's funny.
And so that's what we try to stack those good ones on those good ones. And then when the bulls go out, I feel real confident in what they're going to do. And they're going to sure produce replacement females because, the cows are out of her good.
It's funny you kind of bring that up. I actually had a conversation today with a breeder. We was talking about the breed and some things we might try to, I think we need to all work together for, as a breed whole, is more consistency in our cattle, because we're talking about commercial guys wanting to buy bulls. Well, when they sell their calves, they all need to look like peas in a pod, and to get that top premium or sell them in groups. And, certain types of Beefmaster bulls won't do that. And like you're saying, that's what you're striving for. And it goes back to the first thing y'all mentioned, was you're creating bulls that your customer is wanting for their end product. So, I mean, there's a lot of sense tying that together.
Mr. Steve, when we talked before the show, we talked about how, and even in the first time we talked in last year's episode, how you both started with just, you found your one cow and you flushed her and put eggs in just till you got, enough cows that you could do something different. Do we make this too hard on ourselves sometimes?
Yes, people make it way too hard. Today, it's back when we started, it was really hard because, like I say, you could take a bull and a cow and mate them, and the calf didn't look like neither one of them. Well, that's not the case today. We have a lot of genetics are a lot more concentrated and a lot more consistent today, that you can just go out and get started, and you can buy you one or two females of the right females and get you a small set of commercial cows and flush those cows and put the eggs in, and you're at the top of the game right then. A lot of these people want to talk about, well, I've got 200 acres of land and I can run 50 cows. Well, see, if you're in the purebred business, you need to run good ones. And if that's 5 good ones versus 50 average ones, I mean, that's where you can always sell a good one. And they spend a whole lot of money on average purebred cows that, as she was talking about earlier, some cows you can AR to every bull in this breed. And the chances of getting a good bull calf is probably 1% maybe. And then there's other cows in this breed that you can AI them to every bull in this breed, and every bull calf she has a good one. And that's the kind of cows, what we were looking for was the cows that whatever bull you mated them to, they had good calves, good bull calves.
And I mean, you got to sell the bulls. You got to sell them just like you can the heifers, but you might as well, if you're going to have them anyways, like you said, you might as well have some good ones and sell them for,
Yeah, because if you got to carry the reason you're in the purebred business is produce bulls to upgrade the commercial cow herd. I mean, if the Charolais breed couldn't sell bulls, they wouldn't have a breed. If the Herefords couldn't sell bulls, they wouldn't have a breed. And all your major breeders within any breed, they're known for the bulls they produce. If you think about it, all your successful Beefmaster breeders, they're known for the bulls they produce. And that's the way it is, and that's just kind of the way the cow deal works. And if you're not in the if you're in the purebred business, you need to be trying to produce the best bulls you can to sell all your neighbors. And I think most of our members just aren't interested in trying to produce a good bull.
I mean, I've heard people tell me, you know, in the past that they'll just steer every single bull calf they have and take them to sale barn. I just don't see where there's any benefit to that. You know, I want to raise good enough bulls where I don't have to do that. Now, obviously, I mean, I don't care if she's the best, if it's the best mate in the world, you're going to get something that's subpar every once in a while. It's just, I mean, it's
Sure.
just the way life is. But I mean, I want to make, I don't care if it's a bull or a heifer. In my opinion, I want to make the best thing I can make and try, and, you know, and especially for my customers.
Exactly. That's what we want to do.
Do you feel like if your goal is to produce good bulls like that, or you think the females kind of come along with that as well, or?
Oh yeah, I don't ever worry about females. They'll be good.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got those kind of cows, those feminine, right kind of cows, I mean, you don't ever worry about that
because we're a maternal breed.
We're a maternal breed.
So there's no problem making the females. It's just a problem making the bulls.
That's right.
So when can you tell that a bull calf is going to have really good potential to make a herd sire for someone? Would that be before, during, after weaning? In your opinion, what are you looking at there?
Well, the special bulls, I'm going to know them probably in the first 2 weeks, because those special bulls, they come here that way. Now the other ones, it can be, I mean, bulls grow different and develop different than females as a whole. So some of your bulls, you're not going to notice them until they're 5 months old or 6 months old, or sometimes even after weaning or something like that. But the special ones, the good ones, I mean, I can tell you within they 2 weeks old. If they've got the structure and the look and the build, and I mean they just have it. They just have it. And but you have to trust your genetics, because we do, you know, the biggest part of our program is the embryo program, so we use a lot of calf raisers. So there again, you've got calf raisers that their cows don't milk that great, or, you know, So we try to, in that situation, we try to get those calves weaned at 5 months and get them home so we can get them, you know, keep them headed the right direction, because usually the cow can take care of them pretty good for at least the first 4 months, most time, unless they're just really bad milkers. And but then, you know, you can get your hands on them and keep the nutrition going, and trust your genetics, and they'll be fine. Won't be any problems. So in those scenarios, there might be some times it's a later seeing the potential in that bull, but most time I'm gonna know pretty quick.
But you have to realize too that bulls go through that yearling stage. Most of them. We've had a few bulls over the years that didn't have that yearling stage. He stayed true his entire life. But the majority of them are going to go through that yearling stage, and you're going to go out there one day and think, my goodness, what did I see in that calf? He's awful. And then you go back a month later and look, and he's, well, he looks better today. I think I was right. And that'll go back and forth for 4 to 6 months. You think one day he's awful, and the next day, oh, he's back, he's good. But if he was good in the beginning, he'll come back.
I agree with that. I've seen like the calves that we've had, like Steve says, you see them out there strutting at 2 or 3 weeks old, you think, man, looky there, you know, they've already got that bull look and flashy and, you know, looking right. And sometimes they'll go through that stage, but it always seems like about the time they'll always come back out of it, you know.
Yeah,
It's funny.
they will if they're good.
It's funny. Jared and I talked about this just the other day. I don't know what got us talking about it. We had some yearlings that left here for feed test, and I said, man, you just have those days you go out there and you go, man, I just don't know about that. He said, every time I go, it's either, man, he looks all right, or the next day he may not look very good. And then the next day I think he looks pretty good.
Yeah. That's frustrating.
Absolutely is. And I've noticed I've got some that turn out really well, but sometimes they're later bloomers than those ones that you can tell at 2 weeks old. Seems like it takes them. I don't know if it's just because we've got some different genetics that when we first started, we're trying different stuff and seeing what worked for us, and we're headed a direction now. But it's just funny because some of them, like y'all said, you can tell at 2 weeks old, and sometimes some of them it does even raise them at home takes a few months to really get it going. It seems like, but then once they get going, they don't stop.
That's right.
Well, listen to the commercial guys at our bull sales every year. That's what I try to do is just be down there in the bulls and in the aisle and just listen to those guys talk and what they want. And I mean, the number one thing those guys want is calving ease and birth weight. That's number one. They want to try to have a live calf because they tell me a live calf brings more money than a dead one.
That's
And not
right.
losing the cow. And that's the thing. That's the main thing those guys are looking for. And they want the next thing they want is ribeye per hundredweight. They want to know what percent muscle that bull's got in him, and they want a moderate frame. They want them athletic. I mean, that's just what those guys want, and they like them to have smaller heads. From that reason we talked about earlier, now whether they're seeing truth to it or not, that's what a lot of those guys bank on, and so we try to, we just try to keep making those kind of bulls. But I know for a fact a bull that weighs 1,800 pounds out there breeding cows versus a bull that weighs 2,200 pounds out there breeding cows. That 1,800-pound bull will breed more cows for more years than that 2,200-pound bull ever thought about. And so that means there's more pounds of beef on the ground and more daughters you can keep out of those bulls. And the longer he lasts out there, the more happy that guy's going to be. So that's a challenge for us, is trying to keep our cattle moderate enough and athletic enough, because we have a lot of big cattle in our breed. Cattle, in my opinion, that are way too big. And
Yeah, that's definitely something I've heard in the past, and even still now, that our Beefmaster cattle are too big. And there's, like you said, there's a lot of big ones out there.
Well, there's something else on the birth weight deal that we found over the years. The cow, the gestation period of the cow, the longer she cooks that calf, the bigger he's going to be. And the calving, they can calve 10 days early, or they can calve 10 to 15 days late. And if they're one of those later calving cows, the birth weight on that calf is going up pretty fast and in that time frame. So if you can figure out what cows are cooking them longer, you'll know that those are the ones that are going to have your heavier birth weight calves.
Because I can tell you on our lower, which all our bulls, we try to have low birth weight, but our lower birth weight bulls like Johnny Cash and like that Elvis bull, now their calves always come early. In a flush or anything, they come early, and they're small. Mm-hmm. And then we've had other cows over the years that their calves will be the last one in a flush every time.
No matter who they're bred to.
No matter who they're bred to, they're going to have the latest calf, the longest gestation calf in the flush, and it'll be a bigger birth weight calf, just because she cook it 10 days longer than the other cow. It's just going to be bigger.
Yeah, some of the research shows too that last few weeks is the most pounds gained on that calf too. So
Yes.
like
Yes, yes.
like y'all are saying, 10 to 15 days later, it could mean several pounds, 10
Yes.
pounds probably.
Yeah, several pounds.
It was fun. It's kind of funny you just bring that up too. Me and Dad was talking about a cow that we noticed on her with the new registration or the digital beef. We noticed one of our cows had real short calving interval, like 3:26 or something like that. And she actually calved the other day, and we kept looking. It's like she backs up, but I think I kind of try to keep records of when they breed and stuff like that. We've always noticed she calves early, kind of like what you're saying. But the calving birth weight's usually small too. So
Right.
that's interesting. That was brought up tonight.
Yeah. Just, just trying to watch all these things. I mean, I've just been blessed by the Lord to be able to do cattle and horses. I mean, that's just something I've always been good with and good at, and just trying to pay attention to things like that to try to get better at what we're doing. Because nature will tell us a whole bunch of stuff if we'll just look and listen. Well, we're gonna look at them. We're gonna look at them while they're on the cow, to make sure, the birth weight, all that's right, but make sure they got the muscle and they're structurally correct and all that. And so we'll make a decision on some of them while they're still on the cow, because if they don't have any butt in them, then they're not going to have any. And then, we'll make steers out of them then. And then after weaning, we'll wait, probably, 2 or 3 months after weaning and let them get all straightened out and get to eating good. And then we'll start going back through them again, and making sure they're built right and put together right and growing right. As long as those calves are gaining close to that 2 pounds a day from weaning to yearling, they're going plenty fast for me. And because you can get, if you try to develop these bulls fast and put a lot of weight on them when they're young, you're just going to hurt their legs and their joints and their fertility for sure. Because if you take calves and you wean them, you get them over weaning, and you kick them out in the pasture and just leave them alone, and just let them make it till they're yearling. And when you look at them at a yearling, 2 of the biggest things that they'll have on them is horns and testicles, because that's how they develop.
Yeah.
But when we put them in the feedlot situation and try to push these bulls so hard when they're little, you're gonna cut down on the scroll size on those bulls, because you're gonna put too much fat in that area, and you're gonna hurt they won't be getting as much protein basically out of the feed as what they were getting before. And I know that's kind of hard to relate how that works, but so there's a happy medium in there to develop these bulls and keep them structurally sound, their bones hard, and their testicles growing, and their fertility good. And there's a lot of bulls that get burned up early.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the longevity you was talking about too. That helps puts dollars back in that customer's pocket.
Right.
And when we're pushing performance so hard, a lot of people are packing the corn in on these bulls. Well, that blows their feed out. American cattle just can't take that hot feed like your other kind of cattle can. It'll ruin their fertility. It'll get their weight up and it'll get their numbers higher. But if they can't breed and if they can't walk, I don't think it matters how big their ribeye is or how great an IMF they have.
Well, and they'll probably melt. I mean, as soon as you take them and put them in a pasture setting, right?
Yes, they will. And then, you know, you're going to have nothing. They're not going to be able to go cover your cows.
And that's why we developed these bulls on silage, because most of our bulls are going to be on cows before dark that day. If those guys are within 150 miles of our bull sale, those bulls are going to be on cows that day, and they better be ready to go to it, and they better not be laying on the shade tree in a week, you know, dying out there. They better be breeding cows. And that's another reason we sell our bulls as full 2-year-olds, or, you know, some of them's going to be a little past 2-year-olds, because most of those guys tell me you have to be a special cow guy to handle the 18-month-old bulls. And normally you got about 2 of them in place of a, say, 26-month-old bull, because you either got to put one of them out for 30 days while you're still feeding the other one, then bring him back in and swap them out to try to keep those bulls growing, and that, you know, they hadn't shedded teeth yet and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of cow guys know how to handle that, but a whole bunch of them, especially down in our country, that's not how it happens. When they buy a bull, he's going out there to breed cows whether he's 12 months old or 3 years old. And he's going to eat the same thing those cows are eating, whether he's 12 months old or 3 years old. So you better have him ready to go, because, you know, we want our customers satisfied, and we're not raising bulls and selling them to take them back. That's not our goal. We want, when they're sold, we want them to stay sold. We want them to go out there and work. Sure, there's going to be problems here and there. Our bulls are guaranteed, and you know, we'll have to make a bull good every once in a while. But in the scheme of things, that's not very often. But I think if we were trying to sell, you know, 18-month-old bulls, I might be having to make a bunch of them good. Because if you don't take good enough care of those bulls, they're not going to survive.
Well,
a lot
that's
of,
your
lot of
living.
good bulls have been run, you know, turned out too early.
And like I say, a lot of cow guys know how to do that. I mean, some of those bigger commercial guys tell me if they're buying like the young Angus bulls and the you know, because they sell those younger, they'll have to have 2 sets of them, and they'll keep one set in feeding them, and then they'll turn the other set out for 30 days and then swap them. But most of the commercial guys down in our country, that's not how they operate. When they turn them out, they turn them out for however long they're going to breed them. And a lot of them, they're turning them out for good. They ain't coming back in till they get ready till they're done with them.
Yeah, till they take them
And
to
however many
someone.
years that is.
Hopefully it's a lot of years.
So-
But I mean, you know, like, and something else we talked about before the episode started was you made the comment, this is y'all's living. I mean, you have to do everything you can. You need repeat customers, new customers. So you're going to make sure those bulls are hardy and ready to go, because that's how you make your living. You ranch for a living.
That's right.
And the thing for us is trying to have repeat customers. I mean, that's the only reason we've been in the Beefmaster business this many years is repeat business. And we've got bull buyers that's been to every bull sale we've had and bought bulls every year. So that's what we're striving for, is to keep getting the repeat customers, that the bulls are going out there and doing what they're supposed to do.
Well,
Because if they're not, they won't be coming back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and speaking of, that rolls us into one of our final subjects. Speaking of customers and bulls and selling, y'all sales coming up in March. How about you tell us when, where, what to expect, that kind of thing.
Okay, our sale day is March 23rd. It's in Groesbeck, Texas, at the Groesbeck Livestock Auction Barn. We'll have approximately 75 head of bulls there, blacks and reds, probably 45-ish black bulls in the group. We'll have polled bulls and scurred bulls. We'll have a few homozygous black bulls. I know we have one homozygous polled bull. We don't get that very often, so I know when we have one. So I know polled is kind of a big thing right now, so we're trying to have some polled bulls for people. The bulls will be brought in to Groesbeck on Tuesday, and they have small traps there that we turn the bulls out in to rest them and feed them hay and stuff. And then on Thursday, people are welcome to come look at them in the traps and walk through them and watch them walk out there, see how they move. Then on Friday, we'll pin the bulls in the sale barn pens, and we'll pin them 2 to 3 to a pen. And you can come look at them in the pens on Friday and Saturday morning. And then we'll sell them on video. They're in the auction barn Saturday at 1 o'clock. We do have a complimentary lunch on Saturday morning at 11. Be the best chicken fried steak you've ever had. At
Sounds
Billy
good.
B at the auction barn. That's a really great cafe in Groesbeck. We'll video all the bulls. Our video day is February 26th. So we'll be getting the video done then. And we'll have those videos up as soon as Wade gets it all put together for us. What else can you think of, honey?
You've covered it pretty good. I mean, personally, I would like people to ask me questions about the bulls. I mean, I know my bulls better than anybody, and I know what they will and won't do. And if a person's got something he's trying to do with a bull, I think that's where so many of our breeder members mess up. They go buy a bull that won't do what they want them to do, instead of buying. If they know, the advice I would give somebody, you need to know your direction you're going and what you want, what that bull needs to do for you. And then you need to go get that kind of bull. And just like with me, if you come talk to me, I may not have the bull that does what you want. So, and I'm going to tell you that, if you come to me and say, I need a bull that's going to do this, this, and this, I'm saying, hey, that's not what my bulls do. But you need to go to where you can get a bull to do what you're trying to do with your herd. And I think too many people just don't do that. They just start breeding this bull, that bull, and they just get a hodgepodge of stuff.
Throwing darts to see if it sticks.
That's a good scenario.
With your eyes closed.
They won't have a program or a plan of action.
Yeah. Well, that might be answering our last question. We're just wanting to, and you may compound on that if you want to. Or
I think we lost Jared.
Yeah, we lost him.
Yeah. Poor Jared.
He was just
back on.
Yeah, he was just saying that may have answered the last question that we had there, but is there anything you would add as to one piece of advice as someone, maybe a new breeder looking for their first herd sire, or a herd sire that, that is really going to change their herd for the better?
Well, I think they need to know what they're trying to do. I think that's so important, because in the Beefmaster breed, there's multiple kinds of bulls out there.
And there's multiple ways to breed these cattle.
Yes.
And you need to decide what direction you want to go in. What is your plan? How do you want to sell your animals? What's your goal? Where do you want to market them? How do you want to market them? And get that developed first, and then get that bull that will help put you in that direction. And I hate to brag on my husband, but I will. He is like a cow whisperer, and he has been blessed by God with his abilities, and he wants every one of our customers to be happy with what they buy from us or what they get, period. We want them happy. And he will give you the best knowledge that he has to try to help you get what you need and what you want. He's not just going to sell you, oh, look at that pretty black bull in the corner, I think he'll work for you. That's not how he operates. So just ask him. You may be there for a little bit, but he'll sure tell you what he thinks.
Yes, yes, that's okay. I mean, I think we need to all take that advice. No matter how long we've been in the breed, always ask questions, because you never stop learning. I mean, I know I don't. And I think we always ask other people's advice, but I think one important thing is to get in a program, get in someone's program, and that you can trust and learn from, and do that, and then make it your own as you go. But I think there's such a wealth of knowledge in this breed, and you both are some of them. And, whether they get in your program or somebody else's that they know, I think that's a very important part of it.
Yes.
And they've got to be able to sell cattle in their area. I mean, that they may not think that, but you can't be raising cattle in Kentucky and hauling them to Texas to sell them. You know, if you're raising cattle that the Mexicans want to buy, well, you can sell them to the Mexicans, but they're in South Texas and Mexico. They're not in Kentucky and Virginia. So they need to go to the commercial guys and the cattlemen in their area and find out what kind of bulls they'll buy from them. And then they need to make them.
It's funny you say that, because I've actually started doing that around our area, talking to some of the cattlemen that just have commercial herds. They may not even have purebred. Some of them have some purebred Angus that they've got a Charolais or something on. And I've just started asking them, hey, what can I do to earn your business? Even if I have to sell my bull cheaper the first time, just to get them using it. I'm sure it's like this everywhere, but in North Carolina, Western North Carolina, a lot of these guys are copycats. If a guy buys something, a bull, a tractor, anything, and they like it, those other guys are going to start buying. And
that's right.
In North Carolina, heck, I want them buying from me if they're going to be buying from anybody. So, I can't, like you said, every once in a while, maybe one of my bulls will go to Mexico, but I can't make that my strategy because it's just so far. Locally, I agree with you. Locally, really have to have somebody that's going to help buy your bulls, and even if they like your bulls, they're even going to tell them to their buddies.
That's right.
That's right.
We have Jared
we've
back.
even loaned people bulls. Just, trying to get some calves on the ground.
Yes, just to make sure they like it and it works for them, and that probably means more to them than anything.
Right.
Well, I guarantee you that, the American cow herd is mainly Angus based. And if a lot of those Angus guys would try one of our good bulls, they'd be blown away. And they would still get their black calves. They would still great choice. There'd just be a whole lot more pounds. And boy, they could keep some of those females and just be way ahead.
They'd ring the bell at the sale barn.
Yeah, but
yes, for sure.
It's just hard getting those commercial guys to come over sometimes. But
well, I guess we just work at it and keep trying, and eventually maybe we'll get some of them.
That's right.
Well, but if more of our breeders would talk to their customer base or their customer area and find out what they can make to sell and try to do that, the breeders will be a lot happier that they're selling their cattle for a profit and their customers are happy, and it'll help the Beefmaster breed a ton. Because we want everybody talking Beefmaster, talking good about Beefmaster, not bad about Beefmaster.
Yeah, that word of mouth travels fast.
Yeah, because if they have a bad experience, they're going to tell 25 people. If they have a good experience, they might tell 5.
Yeah.
So you better have a lot of good experiences going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Jared, I hate you got cut off there. I think you had some technical difficulties, but
It happens.
glad you're back. But we're really out of time tonight. Mr. Steve, Miss Cindy, it is greatly appreciated again that y'all took time out of y'all's evening to come on our show and talk to just two guys that just enjoy doing this show. And we appreciate your sponsorship and all your support.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
you
you
much.
guys so much.
Yeah, thank
We
y'all.
appreciate y'all. Just keep promoting Beefmasters like you're doing.
We're
You're doing
trying
a
our
great
best.
job.
We'll sure give it a shot. But
Thank y'all so much.
thank y'all, and everybody have a great night, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right.
y'all.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Well, we want to thank everybody for listening to the Beefmaster Banner podcast. Please know that we are on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and we are on YouTube. Just search Beefmaster Banner. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. We love hearing from you, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.